Today I'm going to summarize another book, this time by one of the most recognizable communication experts in the world, Larry King. The title of the book is How to Talk to Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere, and its main idea is surprisingly simple. Great communication is not about being perfect, extroverted, or naturally funny. It's about learning how to connect with people in an honest, confident, and comfortable way. A lot of people believe that good conversationalists are simply born with social talent. They assume that confident speakers naturally know what to say in every situation. But Larry King explains that communication is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice, awareness, and repetition. In this video, I prepared 5 major lessons from the book that can help you become more confident in conversations, less awkward in social situations, and more interesting and comfortable around other people. These lessons are practical, realistic, and useful for everyday life, whether you're talking to friends, classmates, co-workers, strangers, or even speaking in front of a group. Let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Conversation is a skill you build through practice. One of the biggest myths about communication is the idea that some people are naturally good at talking while others are simply awkward forever. This belief creates fear because it makes social confidence feel unreachable. People start avoiding conversations because they assume they're just not that type of person. But the book argues the exact opposite. Larry King explains that communication improves through experience. The more conversations you have, the more comfortable you become. Confidence is not the starting point, it is the result of repeated action. Think about any other skill. Nobody expects to play piano perfectly on the first day. Nobody expects to become athletic after one workout. Yet when it comes to social skills, people expect themselves to immediately sound smart, funny, and confident. And when they don't, they become discouraged. The truth is that awkwardness is part of the learning process. Larry King himself admitted that even after years of broadcasting and interviewing famous people, he still experienced nervousness before conversations and public appearances. The difference is that he didn't allow discomfort to stop him from participating. A powerful idea from the book is that communication is less about performing and more about connecting. Most people enter conversations focused entirely on themselves. What if I sound stupid? What if there's silence? What if they don't like me? But charismatic communicators focus outward instead of inward. They focus on curiosity, attention, and engagement. The moment you stop trying to impress everyone, conversations become much easier. Another important point is that social confidence grows gradually. Small interactions matter. Saying hello to someone, asking a question, starting short conversations with strangers. Every interaction becomes practice. Tip number 1. Stop waiting to feel ready before talking to people. Tip number 2. Treat every conversation as practice instead of a performance. Tip number 3. Remember that confidence is built through repetition, not perfection. Lesson number 2. Curiosity makes you interesting. One of the most surprising lessons from the book is that people who are considered great conversationalists are not always the people who talk the most. Often, they are the people who ask the best questions and show genuine curiosity about others. Many people think they need amazing stories, clever jokes, or impressive achievements to hold conversations. But in reality, people enjoy talking to those who make them feel heard and understood. Imagine speaking to someone who constantly interrupts, changes the topic back to themselves, or barely listens while waiting for their turn to speak. Even if they are intelligent, the conversation feels exhausting. Now imagine someone who listens carefully, asks thoughtful follow-up questions, remembers details, and reacts with real interest. That person instantly feels more engaging. The book emphasizes that curiosity creates connection. Larry King explains that he was able to interview thousands of people because he approached conversations with genuine interest. He wasn't trying to prove how smart he was. He wanted to learn something from the other person. This mindset changes everything. Instead of entering conversations thinking, "How do I sound interesting?" start asking, "What can I learn about this person?" That simple shift removes pressure and creates natural flow. Another important point is that good questions create better conversations than good answers. Open-ended questions are especially powerful because they invite people to share more about themselves. For example, instead of asking, "Did you enjoy the trip?" you could ask, "What was the most memorable part of the trip?" One-word questions create one-word answers. Curiosity creates depth. The book also explains that active listening is rare today because most people are distracted. They think about their response instead of truly listening. But people can feel when your attention is genuine. A practical habit is to focus completely on the speaker for a few moments. Notice their words, tone, and emotions. This makes conversations feel more meaningful and memorable. Lesson number 3. Fear of awkwardness holds people back. One of the biggest barriers to communication is not lack of intelligence or social ability. It's fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of embarrassment. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of silence. Because of this fear, many people stay quiet even when they want to connect. The book explains that awkward moments are completely normal. Every person experiences them. Even skilled communicators sometimes lose track of what to say, tell bad jokes, or experience uncomfortable pauses. The difference is that confident communicators do not panic when awkwardness appears. Most people treat awkward moments like disasters. But in reality, other people usually forget them very quickly. We often judge ourselves much more harshly than others do. Another important idea is that silence is not always bad. Many people rush to fill every pause because silence feels uncomfortable. As a result, they begin talking too fast, rambling, or saying things they don't actually mean. But calm pauses can actually make you appear more confident and thoughtful. The book encourages readers to become comfortable with imperfection. You do not need to sound brilliant all the time. You do not need to entertain everyone. You do not need to avoid every mistake. Communication becomes easier when you stop trying to control every detail. Another practical strategy is preparation. If social situations make you nervous, prepare a few simple topics or questions beforehand. This reduces anxiety and makes it easier to start conversations naturally. For example, what have you been interested in lately? How did you get into that? What's been the highlight of your week? Simple questions often lead to surprisingly deep conversations. Most importantly, remember this. People care less about your perfection and more about how you make them feel. Lesson number 4. Authenticity matters more than trying to impress. A lot of people believe they need to act more confident, more funny, or more successful in order to be liked. They try to create a perfect image instead of being genuine. But Larry King repeatedly emphasizes that authenticity creates stronger connections than performance. People can usually sense when someone is trying too hard. For example, some people dominate conversations because they think talking more makes them appear impressive. Others constantly mention achievements or try to sound smarter than everyone else. But instead of creating connection, this often creates distance. Authentic communication feels relaxed and natural. This does not mean oversharing everything or removing all social filters. It simply means being honest in the way you speak and interact. You do not need to pretend to know everything. You do not need to hide every insecurity. And you definitely do not need to become a completely different personality to communicate well. In fact, admitting small imperfections can make you more relatable. Another powerful lesson from the book is that people remember energy more than words. They remember whether you made them feel comfortable, respected, and valued. Warmth matters. Simple behaviors make a huge difference. Smiling when greeting people. Remembering names. Showing appreciation. Maintaining eye contact, and reacting with genuine interest. The book also explains that humility is attractive. People enjoy conversations with those who are open-minded and willing to learn, not those who constantly try to prove superiority. A practical mindset shift is this. Enter conversations to connect, not compete. The moment conversations stop feeling like performances, they become much more enjoyable. Lesson number 5. Communication shapes your opportunities and relationships. One of the strongest messages in the book is that communication affects nearly every area of life. Your ability to speak clearly, connect with people, and express yourself influences friendships, career opportunities, networking, leadership, and even self-confidence. Many opportunities come from simple conversations. A casual introduction can become a friendship. A small interaction can lead to a future opportunity. A confident conversation can completely change how people see you. But strong communication is not about manipulation. It's about building trust and understanding. The book emphasizes consistency. Small daily interactions matter more than occasional moments of confidence. Over time, repeated habits shape your identity. If you consistently avoid conversations, social fear grows stronger. If you consistently practice communication, confidence grows stronger. Another important idea is adaptability. Different situations require different communication styles. Sometimes you need to listen more. Sometimes you need to lead the conversation. Sometimes you need humor. Sometimes you simply need empathy. Great communicators pay attention to the situation instead of using the same approach everywhere. The book also highlights the importance of preparation in public speaking and interviews. Nervousness decreases when you know your material and focus on helping the audience instead of impressing them. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learning to stay calm under pressure. Speaking slowly, pausing before answering, and remaining composed makes you appear more confident and trustworthy. And finally, Larry King reminds readers that communication is not about becoming the loudest person in the room. It's about creating meaningful human connection. To summarize, the core message of how to talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere is simple but extremely valuable. Anyone can become a better communicator. You do not need a perfect personality. You do not need endless confidence. And you do not need to eliminate nervousness completely. You simply need to practice. Focus on curiosity instead of performance. Accept awkwardness instead of fearing it. Learn to listen instead of trying to impress. And remember that authentic connection matters more than perfection. Look at your daily life and ask yourself, where am I avoiding conversations? Where am I overthinking? And how can I become more open, present, and confident when interacting with people? Because communication is not just about words. It's about making people feel comfortable, understood, and connected. And that is a skill that can completely change your life. Thanks for watching.